Hello, everybody. Welcome to 2026. We are exiting the year of the snake and into the year of the fire horse. So a 9 year into a 1 year, many endings into new beginnings. I don't know about you guys, but it's been a ride this year, especially through through October on, has been really, really raucous in my world, and I have to say, in the most challenging and yet beautifully perfect ways. I get really inspired by this journey and the perfection of the way in which life, capital L, the divine, divine timing, the divine plan, the universe, however we want to put it, introduces the most accurate and perfect ways for us to grow. So that has been these last few months for me, and it feels like it's been pretty nonstop. And I know many other people have been feeling their own version of transformation. And so I want to talk a little bit about that as we look into, January. I just did the full moon light language journey that's over on Patreon, and I'm actually gifting that to everyone to begin this year. So please hop over there and receive if you feel called to. I'm happy to share it. I've got some notes here. So we've got this new moon that we're starting out in, right? That is in Cancer, my home sign. And I love that we're sort of enveloped in all of these feminine energies right now. So what we want to remember always is that though we're starting out with the new year, the calendar year, it is not the organic cycles of renewal necessarily. Now, the winter solstice does start bringing back the light, but it is the first day of winter. So we're in winter. And with all of the feminine energies and with the new calibrations of the new earth, like really, we are accessing so many new levels right now. It's sort of astounding, and like I have so much wonder about how everything is going to continue to unfold magically as we move forward. We can begin to start saying, I'm living from the new earth, the new realms, right? The new era, heaven on earth templates. They're here. They've been here. But they are activating so much more powerfully with all of the shedding that has happened through this last year. It's allowing much more space for the grace of these new codes and paradigms to begin unfolding. So this moon really kind of sets us up to be in this deeper receptivity and emptiness, readying an internal foundation for what is to come through 2026 and 2027. We're going to be doing more of that over on Patreon, teasing some of this apart. The format is changing over there. I'm adding another tier that's really working with relational intimacy, higher love relationships, for the new earth, as well as divine union on all levels, meaning really just expanding into that consciousness of unity and oneness and that holy wholeness within. So that is what I call the divine union. The sacred union is that relational template that's coming down for those of us who have those codes. So all of that is going to be over there. And we're going to be working more succinctly with raising our frequency. And I'm going to be bringing in some of the gene keys to support that. We're not going to be doing the gene keys, but Richard Rudd's teachings and the way in which he's really downloaded the transmutation process is beautiful. It's rich, it's deep, it's powerful. So we're going to be working with that throughout this year as well. But what I want to talk about right now, from this place of the feminine, is the key word that I want to introduce for this month anyway, and probably the first part of this year, and maybe even the whole year, is receptivity. Receptivity is like this superpower consciousness that I feel most of us are not really adept at, because we're wired more towards that masculine doer, goer, outer. Receptivity happens in that non-doing and that allowance, and the way that I'm experiencing it, holding it, being guided in it, is how much can we receive in the divine plan, and how much can we continue to surrender our self-will into a higher will. And most of that comes through being able to surrender and receive. So maybe those two words are going to be the guideposts for us moving forward, because the receptivity sets us up to be able to co-create in the new earth and in the heaven on earth, the 5D and beyond frequencies. That's a whole other consciousness. It is a game changer, right? And most of you already know this. The old ways of creating aren't really working very well anymore. I think there are some who are still active in that mode of manifestation, and that is a phase and stage for sure of learning how to know what our self-will is, and align with it, and move it, and create from that. But the next phase is all about being a co-creator with the divine, understanding that there is a much bigger plan for our soul's unfoldment, and it does not come from any of our egoic doing. It comes from really accessing our feminine and the alchemizing, that inner union. This is also going to be over on this second tier in Patreon, working with this inner alchemy from the foundation first of the feminine, and really stepping into this new paradigm from this embodiment place, and from attuning to our soul essence and that purpose. And that purpose is not our service, right? The purpose is our essence. The purpose is who we came here to express as, from a whole and holy essence connected with divine source. This is what's leading us forward. This is what is supporting us in our mastery and maturity as we evolve into our divine human self. Some could say our true human expression, that we are remembering ourselves into, which is not to say that the journey that we've been, right, from the humanness that we've been, that there's anything wrong with that. That's been the ways in which we've needed to learn and to grow and to learn through many developmental stages that were necessary. And now we have next level developmental stages that are going to be taking us into a very different reality. And that is how we're going to co-create a new physical world reality. And I know that seems really hard to grok given the state of our world. But what I really want to say is that when you begin reconfiguring your inner reality, it is all very different. And it is from the inner that we create the outer. I'm going to make a really quick note here, because this is going to be another video. And that inner is the inner creation of the outer can be either our inner light that creates or our inner shadow and wounding that creates. So, all right. Sorry, got a little sidetracked there. So we're wanting to be recalibrating from our inner space, coming home to our true purpose and our soul essence, which is a big part of our higher self and selves from higher dimensions, the multi-dimensional realms of our divinity. So we have been doing this, right? Many of us have been doing this, but now the ease and grace for this, because of the degree of light that is entering our planet, the degree of healing that we have all been doing, have been freeing up so much more space as that darkness crumbles away. So keep your eye on the light, right? The inner light and the higher light. So I want to talk a little bit about transformation and the phases and stages. This year has been super fast, and we have had cycles closing out. The latest one that I can remember was like a 14-year cycle. So look back 14 years, right? See where you were and see what was going on then and what has perhaps happened in this last year of 2025. And I want to talk about transformation as a way of life. When we're just starting out in our awakening journey and in our, ascension process, let's say, it can be a little slower. Because we don't have the experience, right? We don't have the deeper levels of faith and trust that over time of that direct experience really support our readiness for change and our ability to move from what's been into what is wanting to come in. This can be the case for emotions, habits, thought forms, belief systems, relationships, people, places, things in general, right? Jobs, locations, all of this stuff. We've lived in a world that has been highly physicalized, where everything is anchored in and stays in place, right? We have the job that we're going to have, and we have that for our whole career. We've got our schooling, we've got our home, this is where we've lived, we've never left. We've got our friends, our family. That paradigm was there for a reason. And now that paradigm is asking us to move in a new direction. And if we're not used to that momentum, if we're not used to the letting go and the loss that comes with letting go, because we're ultimately, whenever we let go of something outside of us, we let go and we die to a part of our self, of our identity, of our egoic structure, of who we've known ourselves to be. We have a why, right, for how we live and why we're living the way that we live. Anytime we go through a letting go, we're left in an unknown. We're left in a limbo space. One of my clients, we were talking about it in a session yesterday, and right, so we kind of got into that nothing zone, and for her experience of it was like purgatory. It felt like purgatory, right? Because the solidified world is very comfortable for her, and the unknown is not comfortable. And so there's shifting happening, but for her, that's what it felt like inside, right? So it can feel very unsettling when we are shifting paradigms, number one, but when we're letting go of old things that have been our norm, have been what we know. In the beginning, we're going to cling. We're going to stay in that relationship. We're going to stay in that job no matter what, because there's a lot of thought forms that say, well, life is supposed to be hard, right? Or this is just what you do. You've got mortgages to pay. You've got a child to raise, or families. All of that made sense. And it's still making sense, but it's losing its grip. It's not the way of the functioning in the new earth realms, because we are not going to be, this is a strong word, but I'm going to use it, we are moving out of enslavement. Okay? So many of you are going to understand what that means. Some of you may not understand that we literally live in enslaved consciousness. And yet within it, we have so much freedom to have everything that we need and make as much money as, we want to work and strive for, and we can buy things, and okay, but that's kind of this false reality that keeps us lockstep into this way of life. It's changing, right? All the systems, blah, 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 blah. Most of us know this. So when you're beginning, if you're new on this journey, know that it's hard to let go. And it's hard to shift our identifications, and it's hard to break through these inner thresholds of a reality that we think is the way things are. It's not. You keep going, you keep facing the fears and following what your truth is, following your joy. We are following happiness now. We're following deep peace. We're following a path of love. We're following a path of joy, fulfillment, right? Flourishing, thriving. abundance. It's in us. It's not outside of us. And so as we break down these old thought forms and our shadows, it still is really hard to see that there's a pot of gold at the end of that rainbow. And yet this is what has to happen. So the more adept you get on this journey, the more faith and trust you have that your soul is guiding you, right? That you've got your team, you've got your connection with divine source, with love, with God, with life. The more that you have all of that, the ease and grace picks up. The more that you can sit in your loss and grief of what was, and hold it tenderly, and see the value of it, the importance of it, and recognize that now you are becoming, you are blooming into a next phase and stage. This year, and I just want to throw this out there for those of you who this might resonate with. This year has called us to do massive transformation. And I want you to reflect on where you've maintained a comfort level and a status quo, right? And I'm using these words purposefully, not what is right and true for your evolution, your soul's journey, your life lessons and teachings. I'm saying a status quo of safety and comfort because it's what you know. And so maybe you didn't go through a lot of transformation. I want you to begin to just invite in more curiosity, because we're going to have a lot more examples and a lot more opportunities for rapid transformation. If you are feeling called and aligned into this new earth reality, into this new era of becoming your highest expression again and again and again, then check in with where are you not wanting to get the wind under your wings, right? And really start to take off and fly, because that is the invitation. What is the fear? What is the holding pattern, right? What is that false security? What is the relationship dynamics, right? Family dynamics, partnership dynamics, vocation dynamics, location dynamics. What is it that is holding you in the operating pattern of the old world? This is going to be very nuanced. And again, the phases and stages of us saying yes to the growth will help you to recognize the subtleties of fear and the rationalities to assuage the fear of change, of growth, of loss. Okay? So I'm just going to plant that seed as we move forward into this next year of massive unfolding, right? It's not, we've said this again and again, it's not slowing down. It's not slowing down. We are on a path of spiritual evolution, and we don't know where it's ending. So it's an adventure that we're all on together, and we can go kind of kicking and screaming. We can kind of sit in that place, that holding pattern, and not really maybe understand the enthusiasm and the joy and the wonder and the magic that we might hear other people talk about, and we're only kind of seeing the part that is stuck and stagnant. That's why that's all you're seeing. There's vastly more, and that's what all of us, who are in positions of guiding and supporting this journey, this is why we're here, for when we're ready, right? So I think that's all that I'm going to say about that. You can just explore within. And I want to stress more and more that we are living from the inside out, not from the outside in on this journey. And so if you're not sure how to do that, reach out. If you want to be unstuck, please reach out, right? If you're moving to next levels and you're breaking through glass ceilings and you want support in that, reach out. Art of Sacred Embodiment is about doing all of this in a deeply embodied way, in connection to our remembering and reclaiming our soul presence in totality and our highest self light, as well as, of course, working with the relational intimacy and sacred union and divine union, which is this unification into growing wholeness on all levels. So with that, I am going to say happy January, happy 2026, and let the magic begin, right? Let it unfold. Let your light and your fire and your earthing and your air and your water alchemize into this beautiful inner peace and balance and wholeness and presence that allows you to have a foundational support from within you as we move through the turbulence of the external world into the consciousness of the heart, which is the 5D and beyond, the new earth, higher realms, heaven on earth. So love to have you all join me over on Patreon. There's free membership, paid membership. Now there's 2 tiers. And private sessions, if you're local, I am doing them in person as well on Zoom if you prefer online or you are not local. So you can hop over and contact me over on my website. And many blessings, much love, and I'll see you soon. All right, bye.